that's the situation with Kylian Mbappe. Before we came on air, on the early sports breakfast, they were having a little bit of a debate over whether Erling Haaland could ever become the GOAT without winning the World Cup. Something actually we talked about last night when we had our little Christmas do. Norway, as we know, didn't qualify for this year's tournament. Do you think, Cass, to be the greatest, you have to win the World Cup?
Yes,
that's a given.
Unfortunately, that's the given, because look at the list before. If you're going to argue Maradona, well, he's won the World Cup. If you're going to argue Pele, he's won the World Cup. I mean, the one that's never won it, that always came into an argument, was George Best. He was always deemed as the greatest player, certainly in these shores. I wouldn't go that goes universal. It doesn't go globally. But, you know, the reason he wasn't in that conversation is because he never could compete with Northern Ireland, as in a major tournament, or win it. Erling Haaland probably is not going to win the World Cup with Norway. He's not. So...
You don't... I mean...
No, he's not. He's not going to win. So
I'm trying to think, is there ever a quirk? I mean, you know, can you ever predict, really, that Greece would have won the Euros, for example? I suppose maybe that's slightly different because there are fewer nations. It's a European competition, but still...
Look, Erling Haaland,
I know what you're saying. I do know what you're saying.
Unless he gets 70 goals a season every season, even then I don't know if he would be classed as the greatest player of all time. I just don't see it without being a world champion, because if you have to... Put it this way now. If we've had to question Lionel Messi, is he the greatest ever? And think of what he's done as a club player with Barcelona. If he can't be deemed as number one, or some people make an argument, no, he's not, Maradona's in front of him, or Pele was in front of him. What's Erling Haaland? He cannot do it just at club level. So it's impossible for me, in my mind, for you to be the GOAT, the best player ever, just on your club form.
No, you raise a good point about Messi, and everyone's saying the only way that he could possibly even be in the conversation is if he was to win the World Cup, which he's now done. And yet still we're having the debate of whether it's not Maradona or whether it's Pele, who won 3 World Cups with Brazil, for example. So, yeah, unfortunately, you're probably right with regards to Erling Haaland. He could break a number of club records, maybe. But even saying that, you know, with the suggestion that he doesn't want to... The suggestion is that he won't be at City long term. It means he's not going to necessarily break records at Manchester City, for example. But still, a tremendous start by Erling Haaland at Manchester City this season. 18 Premier League goals. It's still quite staggering when you really think about it. If you want to have your say on the greatest, the conversation on the greatest of all time, do you have to win the World Cup to be considered the GOAT?
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.